Thank you. Hello, welcome everyone. It's so great to see you all here this evening, and I'm really excited for you to be here for the speaker who we have this evening. My name is Julie Kennery, and I work here at EOU in Student Affairs. And I'm just excited to see all of you who are first time at EOU, as well as those of you who are returning after the summer break. And so we've invited you all here to this event because the way that we interact with one another is important, and it has an impact on ourselves, on our teammates, on our classmates, and our friends too. And today's speaker is here to share about a yes and culture and the value of creating a cohesive, intentional, positive culture that brings out the best in each of us. So it's my pleasure to welcome Galen Emaunele, who works with teams around the globe, including Microsoft, Safeway, and NASA, changing the way humans perform and interact and impact each other. Along with his business background, Galen is a world-class improviser. He's performed and taught improv for many years and toured with the cast from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So please help me welcome Galen Emaunele.
Awesome. Thank you. Cool. What's up, y'all? I'm excited about this. I've been looking forward to this for a while. So here we are. And you poor people have no idea what you're in for. But we're going to have some fun. So yeah, I basically have an hour with all of you to hopefully challenge the way that you think about how you show up as a human being, as part of a team, just the way that you impact and influence people around you in your life, and in terms of how you show up. I know that that is a pretty tall order for an hour of time, but all that is kind of required of all of you is to sort of like just be here, just be present, participate, like do what we're doing. And the time that we have, we're going to cover a lot of ground, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of different things here for like individually that you will like take away from this to like reflect on. So yeah, the other thing is that we're going to start by talking about something that is way out in left field that has absolutely nothing to do with you, and we're going to like connect some dots along the way. So the other thing is sort of like just trust me. We're going to take a little bit of a journey here that like we will land the plane, we will connect the dots, but for the first like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of what we're doing, it like maybe like why are we doing this? What is this about? So like just come with me, trust me, we'll get there. Yeah, good. And yeah, that's it. All I'm gonna say. Just like yeah, it's gonna be some fun. So along with the work that I do with teams, organizations, etc., I have done improv for a very long time. Is everybody here familiar with improv? People have like seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? You know what improv is? Cool. Great. For the most part, yes. If you don't, by the end of this, you will. But that's where we're going to start. We're going to start by talking about improv and how improv works, or how the sausage is made, and what that is all about, which is going to be our kind of like jumping off point to like, yeah, just that's going to be where we launch from to like get to where we're going to go here today. So that's it, and I'm just going to start. That's where we're going to go. Cool. All right, great. So in improv, everything in improv is centered around this core concept idea of yes and. Yes and is the meat and potatoes of all things improv. And so what we say as improvisers is that everything that you do and everything that your partner does is considered an offer. And your job as an improviser is to say yes to your partner's offer and then add more information onto it. So that's kind of like that yes and idea in a nutshell. I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like in a sort of like improv performance like setting, just for the context of what does that actually look like in practice in real time, just to sort of like be like, this is what that looks like. So if there are two improvisers on stage, and one of them says to the other one, hey, Doc, I'm here for my 2 o'clock appointment. The other improviser would respond with something along the lines of, oh, great, come on in, have a seat. Your brain's over here in the fridge. Let's get started with the transplant. Right? Essentially, that second improviser, if that's me, I'm saying yes to the offer that's been made, right? the reality that's been created. So I'm saying yes and agreeing to the fact that I'm a doctor, that I know this person, that we have an appointment together, that we're in some sort of medical facility, right? I'm like just saying yes to those things and then adding more information onto it. It's a brain transplant, put this helmet on, flip the switch, let's go. So the opposite of that in improv is what we call a block. And there's only one rule that exists in all of improv, and that is that you are not allowed to block an offer that somebody else makes. So, same scenario, two improvisers on stage, one of them says to the other one, hey doc, I'm here for my 2 o'clock appointment. If the other improviser were to respond with something along the lines of, what are you talking about? I'm not a doctor, I'm just standing here waiting for this bus at this bus stop, that would be a block. Essentially to say no, or reject, or deny, or like destroy the offer, right, or the reality that's been created by that other person. So, when you see improv on stage, it looks like magic. And people always ask us improvisers, like, how do you come up with those things so quickly? Is everything that you do really made up, like on the spot, in the moment, right off the top of your head? Or do you guys like pre-plan ahead of time what you're gonna do and what you're gonna say? And the reality is that yes, like everything we do is made up on the spot in the moment. We just have a very simple set of kind of rules and strategy that we use that allow us to be successful in any situation, including literally where we have absolutely no idea from moment to moment, like what is gonna happen, what's gonna come our way, like where things are going. So, in a nutshell, that's like what yes and is all about. That's sort of like how improv works, that's how the sausage is made. So, a relevant question is like, what does that have to do with any of you? Which is a great question. So surrounding that yes and kind of core concept, there are basically 5 main skills in improv that if you wanted to become a brilliant improviser, you'd have to master these 5 skills. And the context of what we're talking about here is around the idea of sort of like taking that yes and sort of concept and idea and like applying it for yourself in terms of like team culture, in terms of just like how you move through the world and like as a leader, as a human being, etc. So, and that idea of a yes and culture, the sort of like 5 tenets of that are the same 5 skills of what we do in improv. So like that is the crossover here, is that these 5 tenets are the same 5 tenets of like a yes and culture. So those are as follows. These are the 5 skills that you'd have to master to become a great improviser. Number 1, to say yes, which is pretty self-explanatory. We're just in the mode of like saying yes to things that come our way. Also, side note that is important is like it's not literally about saying yes to every single thing in the world. That is not possible. It's unrealistic. Saying yes for us is also just a mindset and a mentality of like being like looking for ways to say yes, like being open and receptive to other people's ideas and looking for ways to say yes when we can. Number 2 is to listen and be present, which is a huge part of improv. It's about tuning in and being present with what is right in front of you right now in this exact moment. Number 3 is to make other people look good. And of all the things that exist in improv, that is like the number 1 most important kind of focus, is that as an improviser, I don't care about what I look like. I want to make this person and their ideas and their offers look brilliant. Like that is my number 1 focus and priority, is like to make this person look good. Number 4 is to embrace change and failure. That is the world that we live in. We're constantly failing. Everything is changing all the time. And so we sort of like understand that those 2 things, change and failure, are like neighborhoods we have to drive through to get anywhere that we want to go, and we love it. Like it's part of the process. That's where the like unexpected stuff, magic happens like in that space, and that's just part of the process. And the last one, number 5, is to be positive. To use positive language, to be optimistic, not to fight with one another on stage or off stage. That's it. Those are the 5 tenets of improv. To say yes, to listen and be present, to make other people look good, to embrace change and failure, and to be positive. And there's nothing in there about being funny or quick-witted or clever or impressing anybody with your cool ideas. Those things are the death of improv. And the people that come in that want to take improv classes and perform that are like, I'm hilarious, this is going to be so funny, are terrible. Terrible. Like, those people ruin improv. They're not fun to play with. They're nightmare students. Nobody wants to like be on a team or perform with those people. They're nightmares. Improv is not about standing out, looking good, being funny, and like making people laugh at all, like impressing anybody with your cool ideas. Like truly, the same things that make you a great improviser are the same things that make you a great friend. Very, very simple. They're also the same things that make you like a more effective leader, a more valuable part of a team, just a more awesome and well-rounded human being navigating this world with other human beings. Because we talk about like life, business, work, teams, whatever, it's like really the heart of that is about relationships, right? It's like how do we impact each other? How do we like show up together? What does it feel like to be here for us individually, like with each other, and how we treat each other and show up? So cool, that is it. That is the context. Those are the 5 tenets of improv. That is kind of like what all of this is about. And what we're going to be talking about for this next like portion of your life. And here's how this is going to work. I don't have slides. I don't have like a slideshow to talk about improv and these theories and like here's the stuff and yes and to like go through a slideshow and talk about it. Like the time that we have together is going to be very interactive. And then all of you are going to run through a couple of like very simple activities that will allow you to take the skills and things that we're talking about here and actually like put them into practice in real time and experience what they feel like to use. Yeah, so it's important that I say this as well, that when you hear improv and what you know of improv, and also that this is going to be interactive, at least most of you are like terrified right now. That you're gonna have to like do something stupid or come up here on stage or like be put on the spot or act like a chicken or do some weird cheesy role play kind of weird thing. And like none of that is going to happen. We're not going to be doing role play stuff. There's no like, no one's gonna get called up here, like put on the spot or have to like act like a chicken. There's no like, okay, you're the sheriff and you're an outlaw, go. Like we're not going to do any of that in this room. Nothing that we're gonna do is going to be like improv or look like improv or like weird things. So, and yeah, I have to like, if you are the kind of person when like an outside speaker is like, hey, we're gonna do something interactive, and you like die inside and wish that you had not come to this thing, like we are kindred spirits, I hate those things. They're always cheesy and corny and weird. And like the thing is that like I'm a very empathetic person, so if anybody is uncomfortable, it immediately drains my batteries and it makes me want to die. So like you're in good hands because I'm like severely allergic to just like cheesy weird things that are like, this is goofy. So I have to do this with like engineers at Microsoft or oil refinery construction workers that are like, what is this? Don't look at me, and be fine. So I promise you, you're going to be fine. This is not going to be like goofy. Everything that we're gonna do, you get to sit right where you're sitting right now, and you're gonna laugh your faces off. We're gonna talk about like a number of things that are like incredibly profound that will impact the way you think about how you show up in the world. So that is what's gonna happen. Cool, that's it. And I like, also, like, the reason that we're gonna do a couple of these things is because I can talk about anything in the universe for an hour and you will forget it in a week or less. You can't like read a book to learn how to swim. You can't, you have to get in the water and like do it. And like, I think that's how things like stick in our brain of like, that we actually have an experience and do something is how we like learn something and be like, oh, this is actually what this feels like so that we can take this as a real human being and like, this is applicable to me. So that's it. Good. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else to say about that. That's like what improv is about. Yes, and the context. So we're just going to launch into the first thing that you are going to do together that is very simple. So for this first activity, everyone is going to just like grab a partner. So like person sitting right next to you is great. Just like partner up really quickly. If you have an odd number of people around you, like just find a partner, somebody close by, make a new friend. Yeah, just quickly do that. I will explain what we're going to do. Okay. Cool. Great. All right. That is probably enough time to find a partner. So here's the other thing I want to say. That I know that I've only been up here for a couple minutes. You guys don't know me. You don't trust me. You have no reason to believe that like what I'm saying is true to you. And so like just a gentle invitation is that like if you watch everybody else do these things, it will not have the same impact as you and just like doing these very simple things. So like just a gentle invitation. I'm a fan of like challenge by choice, but like just give me this like 10, 15 minutes of your life to like trust me for a second and like you will like this. That's all I'm gonna say. But also follow your dreams. So, and for this activity, it is okay, just so that like nobody's sitting this out or whatever, it is okay to have a group of 3 to do this. So if like you have an odd person out or you have an odd number of people around you, like a group of 3 is all right. Don't do it with like a group of 4 or 5 people, just like 3 at the max, but it still works with a group of 3. So, good. Also, that short window, finding a partner, that would have been your time to like get a phone call and leave and not come back, but you're fine. So, here we go. This is what you're gonna do. For the first thing that you're going to do together, you're gonna do this very, very simple thing. So, you and your partner, for this first activity, you're going to write a letter together, and it's just gonna happen out loud. You do not need pen and paper. It's just gonna happen out loud between you and your partner. And here's how this is gonna work. It is as though you and your partner are the same person writing a letter to a second person that is neither one of you. And in this letter, each of you can only contribute 1 word at a time, back and forth, as you write this letter. So, yeah, great. What is your name? What is it? E. All right. If can we do this can we like try this out just to test it out real quick? Okay, you're gonna be great. So if also this is the only time I need someone as an example, but if we screw it up, it's great for everyone to see like how this can get screwed up. So it's pretty simple, but like as a showcase. So if E is my partner, it might look something like this: Dear, I, so, and. What was that? Good. Will come home your this killed it. All right, great. Exactly right. Yes, you nailed it. And yeah, nice job. Killed it. I will not use anyone as an example the rest of this time together, but like that's right? Like one word at a time, back and forth. We're the same person writing a letter to a second person that is neither one of us. So a couple things about this before you try this with your partner and begin. First of all, don't use each other's names. Right? It's not like, Dear Galen, how are you? Fine. Don't do that. It is not a conversation between the two of you. That will confuse you. The two of you are like the same person. You're writing a letter to a second person that's neither one of you. I just want to be so clear. Also, it's very difficult to do this and have it make sense because you can only say one word at a time. Your partner has a different idea from like moment to moment, what is happening next, where things are going. So your goal here is just to have the letter make sense. You're not trying to like be weird or clever or like throw your partner for a loop. Like you don't need to try to be weird. Just like writing a letter, one word at a time, is enough of a challenge to like that it makes sense and is cohesive. Like I promise you, that's all you need to focus on. And the last thing is this: I'm going to give you something that will make this easier for all of you. We have something in improv that I love that we call the failure bow. And the failure bow is this: if E and I are writing a letter and it gets messed up or like turns into gobbledygook or we can't continue or we're like confused or like, I don't know what's happening, right? The failure bow is both people with a pleasant look on their face, put their hands up and go again, and you just like crumple it up and chuck it. So if the letter's like not making sense or it's not flowing or you're like whatever, you can just be like again and start over something else, dear someone else, right? You don't have to start over the same letter and try to make it make sense. Just be like again, dear, whatever. Yeah, makes sense. So everyone's gonna do this at the same time. It's one word at a time, back and forth with your partner. Okay, go, give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. Good. Cool. You can wrap it up, even if you're not done. That's fine. Quick check-in, thoughts, feelings overall. How was that? Good? Easy? Difficult? Some of both? Did anybody have the experience during that where you and your partner could get on the same page and fire for like a couple words, like the end of a sentence, but then other times where that does not happen at all? Yes. Did anyone have the experience where you thought you knew where the story was going and then your partner said a word that screwed it up and like destroyed the story? Yes. And if that happened to anybody, did anybody find themselves trying to like force their idea back into the story to like redirect it? So a lot of things going on. This game is like super simple, right? It's like this one-word letter. It's incredibly simple, but it is my favorite to showcase kind of everything that's happening when we interact and communicate with somebody else, right? With other people. In that in this game, you and your partner together are creating something different than what you would create by yourself, right? There's multiple ideas. There's like from moment to moment, there's like multiple ideas of like where things are going to go, how things are going to turn out, right? In this game, which is true in life, just in general, like, right? There's like multiple interests at play, multiple ideas of like, how do we do this? How do we go forward? So the only way to make this game work and flow and like actually be successful is to apply these tenets of improv, right? To be listening and present and in the moment with your partner. Also to like embrace change, to be willing to change direction midstream and just go where the story is going to go, as well as to say yes, right, to your partner's ideas. Because if he's my partner, every single word that he says in the letter is an offer that I must accept immediately. And every single word that I say in the letter is an offer that he must accept immediately. So if we get started and it's dear grandma, I lost my, and I'm like, wallet, thinking my wallet, right? And I'm gonna ask grandma to like wire me some money. But E says dog instead of wallet because he has no idea what I'm thinking. I need to be present enough to immediately throw away the wallet idea and accept that I've lost my dog, and I'm telling grandma about how I've lost my dog. But if I spend the rest of the time in the letter trying to mention how I've not only lost my dog, but I've also lost my wallet, and I need grandma to like wire me some money, I'm preoccupied with bending it to my will. And I'm preoccupied with it turning out the way that I want to and holding on to my ideas precious instead of just creating this thing together with my partner. Right? Because the letter that I would write with E, like I could not write the same letter with any other person in this room. He cannot write the same letter with any other person in this room. It can only exist right here, right now, by the two of us accepting and like being inspired by each other's offers and ideas and like creating this thing. So we're gonna do this again, same partner, exactly the same thing, one word at a time, but this time I want you to keep that idea in your mind. That every single word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept immediately and let the story go that direction. And if you have another idea where the story's going, even if your idea is like way better, just let it go, right? As soon as it doesn't make sense, just drop it, let it go, and like just do it that way. So we've already done it one time. It may still get totally messed up, which is fine. You can be like, failure bow. But the number one thing is that every word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept and like let the story go that direction. Just see what that feels like to do it that way. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. Yeah, that's great. You can wrap it up. And everybody give your partner a high five. Let me do that, because we're awesome. Okay. Good. So, thoughts, feelings, check-in. How was that the second time? Better? Who thought it was easier the second time? Did anybody feel like it was more difficult the second time? Good, yeah, embrace failure. Just kidding, but I've done that activity probably like 20,000 times in my life, some version of some one word, whatever, like many times, and still write letters that are like, what is happening right now? This is terrible. But for everybody, whether it was like a lot easier, about the same, more difficult. Did you notice a difference, a shift in you of whether or not you're being present and in the moment and like listening to your partner and like accepting their offers? Yes. That shift in you, in the way that you show up when you interact and communicate with other people in your life is so important. When somebody else is in front of us, we're having a conversation with somebody else, right? And like interacting with someone, that we are tuned in and present and listening to that person. I know that everybody in this room has had an experience where you're talking to somebody and they're not listening to you at all, right? They're not looking at you, they're not paying attention, you know, they could not repeat a single word of what you said, right? And like we've all been guilty of that. Someone's talking to me and I'm just, yeah, not a single syllable processed in my brain. What is important in that situation is not the information being passed from one person to the next. You could write it down, you could tell them later, you could text them, you could like send them an email. There's another way to get that information to that person at another time in another manner. What is important in that situation is what it feels like to us as human beings when somebody is not listening to us. It feels like this person doesn't care about what I have to say, they're not interested, they don't agree, they don't like me, whatever. Even if you're not like a touchy-feely kind of person, that is how we connect with each other, right? We tell each other stories all the time. How's it going? How have you been? How was your weekend? Guess where I'm going on vacation? Like, it is how we connect. We don't just stand in a room and like make faces at each other, right? We tell each other stories. And I know that everybody in this room at some point has had an experience like as a customer, right? Where you walk into a store to buy a TV or phone or whatever kind of thing, right? And like you come across some salesperson who you can tell is just waiting for you to shut up so they can blah, 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 blah about whatever they want to sell you on this thing that you may or may not care about at all. If you leave that store, go somewhere else, come across another like salesperson who's just like right there. They're present, they're looking at you, they're asking you questions, they're letting you like finish what you're saying, and you feel like this person's actually trying to help me get what I want. 100 out of 100 times, you'd rather do business with that person, right? It's the same on paper, it's exactly the same transaction, but the experience to us as human beings in that moment is what makes the difference for us. And yes, that's true as a customer or client or whatever. That is also true like as a colleague, as part of a team, right? As a leader, as an employee, as a friend, or in a relationship. It's like you are 100% responsible for what it feels like to talk to you. Nobody else owns that, right? And for us to be like intentional about how we impact other people is so important. It's so simple to do, and it's like so important. There's a huge difference between hearing what somebody said and making somebody feel listened to. And in like my interactions, as I go through my day with other people, whoever, it's like if my intention is to make that other person feel listened to, I show up in a completely different way in terms of my eye contact, my body language, that I'm listening to them, right? As opposed to I'm focused on their experience, that they feel listened to versus mine. Like, yeah, I heard what you said, whatever. And like it has such an impact on everybody that we interact with, like on all levels, strangers to like very close friends, whatever. And I think it's very easy in life as adults, right, to get caught up on the trap of just listening to somebody enough to form a response and then waiting for them to stop making noise with their mouth so that we can say what we are already going to say back to them, right? Someone's talking to me, I get the gist of what they're saying, I'm like, shut it. They stop talking, I'm like, bleh. Like, it's so important to let somebody finish what they're saying without interrupting them and respond based on what we heard them say. And this exercise also proves, like, it's so simple, but it proves like how easy it is for us to do this if we're just intentional about it. If you think back to the first letter that you wrote with your partner of the two, in the first letter, everybody in this room is pretty focused on yourself. You're in your own head thinking, what word am I going to say next? Where's the story going to go, right? Focused on your own experience. And in the second letter, when we talked about the idea that every word that your partner says is an offer that you must accept, your focus, your presence, like extended around your partner. You're able to be aware of, am I listening to and honoring, right, this person's ideas as well as giving my own. Your brain can process that much information. It's super powerful. We just have to choose to show up like that. It's such a simple shift, but it has such an impact on like everything that you will ever do in like your jobs, as a team, like just in your life, your relationships. It has such an impact. Cool. Okay, great. We're going to switch gears, do something totally different. That was like simple 1.0. So we're going to, for the next thing we're going to do, everyone is going to just like get a different partner. So the person on the other side of you, whoever you did not partner with this time, just like find a different partner quickly. You might have to make a new friend. It's great, but re-partner up. I'll explain what we're going to do. Okay. Great. Cool, cool, cool. Good. Anybody get lost in the shuffle? Everybody has a partner? This next game we're going to do also is okay for a group of 3. So it is all right to have a group of 3 for this. And of all the things we're going to do, like, this is my favorite. I think, like, this is my favorite thing we're going to do. All right, good. So here's how this works. You and your partner for this next activity are going on a picnic together. How pleasant. So all you're going to do for this activity is take turns, one idea at a time, back and forth, of like suggesting something to bring along with the 2 of you on this picnic, right? So again, if E's my partner, you might be like, let's bring a Frisbee, right? Let's bring some, or let's bring like fill in the blank. So you'd be like, let's bring a Frisbee. I will say no. And I'll give a quick reason why I don't like that idea, and then I'll suggest something else. And I could say anything I want. I could be like, nah, I don't want to bring a Frisbee. It's boring. I suck at Frisbee. It's too windy outside. Let's bring a blanket to sit on, right? I'll just suggest something else. My partner will say no and give a quick reason why he doesn't like that idea, and then suggest something else. So for this game, every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, no matter what it is, it's a flat out no. Give a reason why that idea sucks, and then suggest something else instead. Wait, before you begin, here's something else. I know that like the majority of you, all of you probably are like nice, lovely, wonderful people, and you want to be polite. This is not the like place for that. So with your answer, don't be mean to each other. I'm just saying, like, with your answer, I actually want you to say the word no. It is a hard no, right? Like, hard no, reason why you don't like that idea. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Like, it's a hard no. Give a reason why you don't like that idea, and then suggest something else. And we just trade ideas back and forth. So, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. All right, great, that's good. You guys can bring it back. That is officially the worst picnic ever. No picnic happening at all. Okay, great. Oh, that's so different. Cool. So, round 2, same partner, same exact exercise, one idea at a time, back and forth. This time, every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, instead of a flat out no, you're just going to be indifferent to it. So this time, if he's like, hey, let's bring our bikes and ride around, I might be like, I'm not going to bring my bike, but if you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to ride around. Yeah, savage. So, and that's it. And then I will suggest something else, same reaction. So it's like, like, I'm not going to stop it, right? It's like, I'm not saying no to it. It's not a good idea. I'll allow it, but I'm not going to participate in it, right? Yeah, it's like, if you want watermelon, go for it, knock yourself out. I'm not going to have any, but I don't care, whatever. And then suggest something else, partner have the same reaction, whatever, indifferent, don't care, do whatever you want. Okay, go, give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. Cool. Great. You can wrap it up. Good. That is officially the second worst picnic ever. I think that one's worse than the first one. It's like passive-aggressive picnic. Okay, good. So, round 3. Same partner, same exercise, one idea at a time, back and forth. This time, every single thing that your partner suggests to bring, no matter what it is, you must say yes excitedly, like it is the single greatest idea you've ever heard of anything to come along on a picnic in your entire life. Hold on. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? If he's like, let's bring a jar of pickles, I'll be like, yes, I love pickles, that's perfect. And then I'll suggest something else, you have the same reaction. But I actually want you to say the word yes out of your mouth. Enthusiastically, it is the greatest idea you've ever heard every single time, and then suggest something else, and probably have the same reaction. Okay, go, give it a shot. All right, good. Nice. Great. Cool. Very good. Let's go. All right, everybody give your partner a high five. So, great. Thoughts, feelings, check in, how was that? Way better. And I'm curious to hear just thoughts, like feelings overall, in general. What did you notice different about the third version of that than the first two, just in general? Was that louder? What was that? Oh, it got out of pocket. Yeah, like, did people feel like in the last one, the ideas like got more outside the box, like weirder, like more creative in the last one? Cool. Anything else people notice different? Yeah, a lot more energy, for sure. A lot louder in here, for sure. Anything else people notice? Just general observations? Felt validated? Yeah. Feels good. Someone's like, yeah, I love it. Anything else people notice? What about the ideas? What's that? They were horrible. In the last one? Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Went dark, okay. But like, on some level, more creative, I guess, but like, okay. Did people feel like, in the third version though, did people feel like the ideas like built on each other? Yeah, instead of like starting from scratch every single time, they like built on each other. So also curious, just in general, in the third version of that, what did you notice different specifically about your partner? What did you know specifically different about your partner in the third version of that than like them in the first two? What's that? Yeah, it was like agreeing to everything. You had to. Good. Anything else? What else people notice about their partner? Felt more comfortable? Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, more riz. What were you gonna say? Yeah, felt like more cohesive, right? More like kind of connected, like you two on the same team. I think in the first time, it's like feels like we're both going on separate picnics. Good, but also like people were laughing, like the partner was like smiling, laughing, being more animated. People's like body language was like more animated and fired up. Also, you didn't hate that person. You might actually consider going on a picnic with that person versus the first two, like no, whatever. Good. So I just want to take a second to sort of like unpack this and talk about this activity. Because again, it's like super simple. Also, you're all incredibly intelligent. Like we get what's going on here, right? It's not like a huge mystery to this game. Say no to something, being different to it, say yes to it. Like, okay, we get it. It's not like some giant surprise. But there are two things happening inside this game that are so critically important to the way that you show up as a human being, the way that you impact other people in your life, like every single day. Number one, that's what it feels like to have somebody else say yes to one of your ideas. It feels great, right? Even though they have to in this game. They don't have a choice. They have to say yes. It still feels great. If I have an idea that I'm not really sure about, I'm like, I don't know, let's bring some chairs. And he's like, yeah, chairs, that's awesome. I'm instantly inspired about my own idea. Even if I was totally lukewarm about it 2 seconds ago, as soon as he's like, yeah, chairs, that's awesome, I'm like, chair suggester? This guy, what? No big deal, but it was my idea. And the opposite is true. When he's like, chairs, that's stupid. I'm gonna sit around and chair all day. No, that's boring. I take that on too. I'm like, oh yeah, chairs, who said that? What the stuff? Or, depending on my personality type, I don't take that on. I just silently resent him because he hated my idea. I'm like, oh, you don't like chairs? What do you got? What do you got? Just kidding, we're cool. Secondly, that is what it feels like to say yes to somebody else's idea. Something that was like generated in somebody else's brain, came out of somebody else's mouth. You said yes to it, like it was the greatest idea that you've ever heard, and nobody died from that. Also had the awesome side effect of having your partner have a completely different experience inside that game, right? To be laughing, to be more animated, to be more creative, to like feel more connected, to feel more comfortable, right? Like their body language completely different. Not based on the quality of their ideas, 100% based on your response. A completely different experience for your partner just because you said yes, like it was the greatest idea they've ever heard. And you can like smell smoke grinding in people's brains, so like I'll say it so you don't have to say it. We can't say yes to every single thing in the world, right? That is not possible. There are plenty of horrible, terrible ideas out there that you have to say no to, otherwise you'll get like arrested, you'll get in trouble. Like, you know, like there's lots of bad ideas that you need to say no to, and like it's not about just going through the world and like saying yes to other people's ideas. This activity is not about saying yes to other people's ideas. What this is about you being aware of and taking responsibility for the way that you impact every single person in your life, every single time that you open your mouth based on your choice of words, your body language, your energy level, your mindset, right? We have a massive impact over the people that we interact with in our lives, like by how we respond to them in a massive way. It is not about saying yes or saying no to other people's ideas. There's a way to say yes to someone to make them feel like crap. I'm like, fine, I'll go on a hike with you. Ugh. And technically, that's a yes. It sucks, right? There's a way to say no to someone to make them feel like, I heard what you said, I considered it. That idea, like, you are valuable to me, but that idea does not work, and this is why, right? It's like it's possible to say no to the idea and yes to the person. And the distinction between those two things is so important that you understand that those are different. As a friend, in your relationships, at work, at school, like in your team, is like, right? The way, it's not that we say yes or no, it is how we say yes and how we say no and how we respond to other people. That is the heart of the way that you impact other people and like your relationship with them and what they think of you, truly. I know that everybody in this room right now can think of somebody in your life, top of mind, immediately, that if you have an idea of something you want to go do and go try and you're totally fired up and stoked about this thing and you tell this person about it, they will shoot it down. You can think of that person right now. They're like, the image of that person is like in your head. Like it doesn't matter how excited you are. It doesn't matter how positive it is. It doesn't matter if it has nothing to do with them. You can guarantee that this person will say something negative and crap you out about that idea of like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Watch out for this. Why would you do that, right? Those people are like, some of you are those people. They're everywhere. I love you, but like they're everywhere. And I know that all of you can think of somebody else in your life right now, top of mind immediately, that if you had that same idea, same amount of excitement, and you go and share it with this person, instant cheerleader. With a friend, coworker, acquaintance, family member, girlfriend, like spouse, like partner, like somebody else in your life that like you share that same idea and they're immediately like, oh, that's awesome, I love it, go do it, I want to hear all about it. Like, yes, do that thing, that's awesome, I love it, right? And I know that those are two giant extremes, but the reality is like, which one of those two people do you want to be to the other people in your life? You literally have a choice every single time that you open your mouth to make somebody's day a little bit better or a little bit worse. And like that is on you. words that come out of your mouth and how they come out of your mouth belong to you. They are a choice. I think it's like so important for us to be conscious and aware of this. And the thing is that like this is not an intentional thing. There's nobody in the world that like wakes up in the morning and be like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say no to everybody's ideas and like crap people out and be like, okay, let's go. Like I have a plan. It's not a real thing. Like no one does that on purpose. The person that you thought of in your life is that no person that would like shoot something down and like say something negative and like crap you out about an idea. They don't see themselves like that. I guarantee you that person would be shocked to learn that of all the people that you know in your entire life, you'd be least excited to share an idea with them based on how they consistently respond to you. I promise you that person thinks that they're a shining light of hope and help in your life. They think they're like a beacon of guidance and wisdom to you. They have no idea that like you don't love sharing ideas with them and like based on how they respond. Like this is 100% about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. It's like, what words do I say and how do I say them and what impact does it have on the people around me? And the 2.0 version of that is like, what impact does it have on my relationship with those people? Like, how do people show up around me as a result of how I respond to them and like speak to them, right? Like, it's so important for us to like be conscious about this. And like, I think it's easy for us to kind of like careen through the world and not realize like the amount of impact that we have on people by how we quickly respond to them and like right in the moment. I have a story about this that perfectly exemplifies what I'm talking about. A number of years ago, I got done doing this workshop with this team. And at the end of this workshop, this guy came up and was like, told me the story that he had that was like based on something he talked about. He's like, man, this like totally resonated with me. He was planning on running a marathon. Never run a marathon before in his life. It was a half marathon. It was months in advance. He just got this wild hair and he's like, yeah, he was gonna train for it. His friends were supportive. He's like, yeah, marathon time, let's go. And he's on the phone with his dad one day. His dad lives on the East Coast. He's like, Dad, I'm thinking about running this marathon. And his dad goes, really? Why? Why would you do that? And his dad proceeds to tell him about how like running is bad for your body and like what's the point of running a marathon because you can't win anything and like how miserable it is to train for like months and months and blisters on your feet and buy all this equipment and shoes and like basically that's the worst idea you've ever heard. Why would you do that? And even though this guy was super stoked about running this marathon, his dad just sucked all the wind out of his sails, like planted that seed of doubt. He got off the phone. He ended up not running the marathon because of that conversation with his dad, which is ridiculous. You guys, what is the point of injecting negativity into a situation that does not warrant it? You have so many opportunities in your life to just shut your mouth, and you should take advantage of that opportunity every chance that you get. Every chance. Especially if the only thing that you have to contribute in that moment is your suddenly expert, like negative opinion about something that you don't even care about. There's nothing to do with you. And like we do this all the time and how people interact and banter. This guy's dad wasn't trying to stop him from running a marathon. He doesn't care about marathons. He's not an expert about bodies, right? Like, he doesn't have to get up and train and do this marathon, so like, why does he care? He could have responded by saying, that's awesome, go get it. Want to hear all about it? Like, do it, whatever, that's awesome, like, do it. What is the point, right? And again, it's not about being fake and cheesy and like pretending we like ideas that we don't and like being a ridiculous person. If I have a friend who's like, I'm thinking about robbing a bank, I'm not like, yeah, follow your dreams, like, it's not about that, truly. It's just about discretion. It's like, do I need to trample on this person's idea? Do I need to say something negative? Do I need to make myself appear to be smart? Or it's like, for the most part, like, shut it. Like, right? Make the choice to like be intentional about, do I need to trample on this thing right now, right? It's such an important thing. And I get to work with like every team in the universe of like industry, I don't care. Nonprofits, for-profit companies, I don't care. People everywhere that you go are people. Any team of people that are a sports team, a work team, any group of human beings in any relationship between two people. This is the heart of the question of like, how do you feel like being, like, do you like being here? If you ask people in any job, do you like your boss? Do you like your coworkers? Do you like this job? Do you like being part of this team? I guarantee you this is the heart of that question. How do we treat each other? How do we respond to one another? Are we intentional about that? We don't have to be fake, cheesy, positive people all the time, but like, you know, for us to be like a little bit more intentional about that and take ownership. We have so much impact over each other, right? And like, it's so important, whether we're a team in any relationship. It's like just to take ownership of this, I think is such an important thing. And it's so simple, I don't know, to move through the world like that. And like, it will impact you in your career, as you get out of college, as you get into jobs, as you're on a team, like it makes a difference how you show up in terms of like being a leader, right? And like the way that you impact people, it matters. So, real talk. Okay, Great. We're going to do one last easy thing, put a bow on everything we're talking about, and then you are done with me. So what we're going to do for this last thing is like really simple. It's like going to be slightly chaotic in here, but fine. What you're going to do is get into a group of like 4 or 5 or 6 people. So like close by, basically just get into kind of a circle. If you have to stand up or turn around or whatever, just like get into a group of like 4, 5, 6 people, and I will explain what we're going to do in a second. Yeah, go for it. Cool. Cool. All right. Perfect. And it will be easiest for you. It will be easiest for you guys if everybody can see each other. So like if you have to move a little bit or get into like a little bit of a circle, like so that everybody can hear each other and that you're close, we'll make this easier for you. So if you want to like make a little bit of space, just make sure that like everyone can hear each other, then you're golden. So, okay, cool. Here's what you're going to do. This activity is basically a brainstorming activity. I'm going to give you something to brainstorm and build together as a team, and you're just going to build this thing one idea at a time. Really, really simple. So let's say that I'm part of this front team right here, and let's say the thing that we are building is a cake, a delicious, tasty cake. So how we do this brainstorm is it's a popcorn. We're just going to popcorn ideas. We're not going to go around in order like one at a time, people around, right? Anyone that has an idea can just share it. Just pop out and share it. So I might be like, it's a chocolate cake, right? I'm not going to say anything about this cake. What happens in this game, how we play this game, is that when anybody shares an idea, right? If I'm like, it's a chocolate cake, everybody else on the team immediately goes, yes! And then anybody else can add anything that they want onto this idea, right? So as we get started, it might be like this. It might look like this. It might be like, it's a chocolate cake. Yes. It's a birthday cake. Yes. It's got candles on it. Yes. It's got green frosting. Yes. Right? One idea at a time. We just build this thing. So incredibly simple, but a couple things about this game, about how we play it, that are important. So number one, it is important to resist the like very human urge to change or cancel somebody else's idea. So if I'm like, it's a chocolate cake, someone should not be like, yeah, but half of it is vanilla. Don't do that, right? When somebody gives an idea, we're saying yes to it. That's what we have. So just be conscious of not like immediately canceling somebody else's idea. And what I'm about to say is the most important part about this game. When anybody on the team shares an idea, every single other person in the circle, right, on your team says yes out loud of their mouth. It is not acceptable to just pleasantly nod at somebody when they give an idea. And like, yeah, I heard some giggles, but I will look around this room and see people being like, Can't do that. You have to say the word yes out of your mouth, and not after like a 4-second pause where you consider if you like their idea or not, right? Somebody gives an idea, everybody jumps on it with a yes immediately, and then we build from there. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, you got it. So, the very first thing, you're going to build and create together as a team is a tropical island. And so, for this activity, hold on, don't start yet, hold on. So, for this, you're not going to use an island that already exists. You're going to make up an island out of thin air. So, what is it called? Where is it? How big is it? What's on the island? How do you get there? What do people do on the island? And anything that you can think of is fair game, right? It doesn't have to be realistic. So if I'm like, it has 3 sunsets a day, my team will be like, yes, right? Anything you can think of that makes this island as awesome as possible, everybody jumps on every single idea with a yes. So what is it called? What is the island? One idea at a time. Okay, go. Give it a shot. Okay, good. That's great. Cool. All right. Great. Thoughts, feelings, check-in. How was that? Good? Was everybody saying yes to every single idea? Yeah. Okay, cool, great. All right, last round. Same team, same exact rules. This time, out of thin air, what you're gonna do with your team is you're gonna create a brand new sport that doesn't already exist, and all the rules to that sport. So, everything is the same about how we play this game, but pretty simple. Start with, what is it called? How many players on the team? How do you score points? How do you win? What kind of field is it played on? What sort of outfits or equipment do the players use? Is it co-ed? Is it professional? Is it paid? Who watches it? Anything about the sport, just one idea, one rule at a time. Same thing. Everybody jumps on every single idea with a yes immediately. Okay, go. Start with what is it called? And then one at a time. Go for it. Okay, good. Nice. All right. Cool. So I have a question for all of you, which is this. If the very first thing that I did when I got up here, instead of talking about improv, yes and, any of that kind of stuff at all, just walked up here and stage, really cool, get in groups of 5 or 6 around the room and just out of thin air, make up a brand new sport that doesn't already exist and all the rules to that sport. Just walked up here an hour ago and just started with that right off the bat. What would that have looked like in here? Super awkward. Right? Maybe a handful of you sharing ideas. Most people would not have opened your mouth. Be like, what? Stupid, I'm not doing this. Who's this guy? Right? There's in that amount of time, in a couple minutes, there's probably some super weird ideas out there in terms of sports. Also, there is no way at all, 1 hour ago, with the same people that you just did that with, that you could have created the same thing you just did in that amount of time. There's no way. Think about some of the weird ideas and what you created. 0% chance 1 hour ago you could have created that exact same thing with the people sitting around you. And nobody in this room is any different. You are all exactly the same people that you were an hour ago. Nobody in this room is more creative. Nobody in this room is more outgoing. Nobody in this room is more confident about sharing their ideas in front of other people than you were an hour ago. None of you know anything more about sports than you did 1 hour ago. You are exactly the same people. All that we did was change our culture. We changed the way that we respond to other people's ideas, what it means to be part of a team, how we engage, how we participate, right? How we collaborate, what it means to actually work together, right? And all of a sudden, this is possible. It's a very minor thing, but also it matters a lot, right? You think about moving through the world and how people show up together. It's remarkable if we are intentional about this is what it means to be part of this team, right? They're this is the power of having an intentional culture that says this is how we operate together. This is how we play together, right? This is how we treat each other, respond to one another, right? Collaborate, what it means to work together. It's such a powerful thing, the shift in that, right? And this room is full of creative, brilliant, and all of you are creative, intelligent, brilliant people. But an hour ago, most of you was sat there weird and quiet and not said anything at all. And like what that proves in real time, truly, is that like we don't need better people inside our teams, inside our organization. Like what we need is a culture that brings the best out of the people that we already have, and the people that are around us and ourselves. Because when my focus is to like actually, truly, intentionally bring out the best of people around me, it brings out a different version of myself. And the truth about human beings and psychology and dynamics of people is that like we give each other permission to show up like this, to be great, right? To actually show up, to participate. If in your group of 4 or 5, and like, I know you guys like, this isn't, you didn't think you were gonna be doing this tonight, and like some of you might be on the fence about like, okay, is this valuable to me? But the truth is, in your group of 4 or 5 or 6 people, if one person is like, this sucks, this guy sucks, I'm not doing this is dumb, right? Or 2 or 3 people are like that, it would have completely shut you down. There's no way you would participate in that game the same way you did if 1 or 2 people were like, this sucks, I'm not doing this. It would have completely turned off the faucet for you in terms of creativity, right? You'd be like, oh yeah, sport, whatever, right? We give each other permission to show up like this. It's real. And if every single person collectively is like, okay, let's engage, let's do this thing, right? It doesn't have to be cheesy and corny and whatever, but like, I will participate and show up this way. Like, think about the impact that has on that group of human beings, whether that is like a team, a work team, like a group of friends. Like the way that we show up and treat each other for each other has a huge impact on what it feels like to be here. And that is true in every aspect of your life, your jobs, your career after college, the teams that you're in, like your group of friends. It matters. Like it truly does. What we bring out of people and what it feels like to be there is like something that we can control. And this is like 1 hour of time. It's so simple. Right? But doing this based on like these 5 simple tenets of improv, that we say yes, that we listen, that we're present, that we make other people look good, right? That we embrace change and failure, that we're positive. It's like, those are simple things. But like, just to be intentional to say, these are the ground rules for us. This is how we operate together. This is how we participate and play together. It's such a powerful thing to have everyone be like, okay, I will take ownership of that, right? And actually take accountability for that and like show up that way. Because the truth is, any group of people, I don't care what you do, whether you're a sports team or anything, a work team, a group of friends, like that is so important, right? Just to be intentional. And for you in your own life, as you move through this world, it's like you have so much impact over bringing the best out of other people. And it doesn't have to be in a cheesy, fake way. You don't have to be like a fake positive person, like everything's great all the time. That's not real. That's not real life, right? But thinking about how you respond, how you say yes, how you say no, right? And I know in our culture this is tough. It's like, you suck. It's like we love to banter negatively and never be vulnerable, but it's like also to be intentional about like, what does it mean to be here, right? And like how we say yes, how we say no, it has an impact on us. And it's not just the people around us in our relationships, it's like it impacts you. It changes the way you show up around people, right? By being intentional, by making people feel listened to, right? By thinking and taking ownership for like, how do you say yes? How do you say no? How do you respond to other people's ideas, right? It seems like a minor thing, but like truly for the rest of your life, your friendships, your romantic relationships, like this is the stuff that like impacts you, and like you will have a better time as a human being in your experience here to like take note of these things and be intentional about this. Like this is the heart of like healthy work teams, healthy friendships, healthy relationships. Truly, it's like that we're just intentional about how we impact other people, right? It's not always about us. And regardless of if you think I'm ridiculous or these exercises or whatever, it's like I hope that each of you guys, like, there are nuggets here to like take away and sort of like reflect on and think about how do you show up, how do you impact other people, right, as you move through this world, because on some level it matters, right? And I think there's all things here for like us to reflect and think about. And yeah, cool, that's what I want to say. I think it's important. So good. Again, I like also want to like, I appreciate everybody like engaging and doing these things, and like participating. I know you guys weren't like thinking, okay, let's go on this picnic thing and do this like yes, no exercise. But I truly hope you feel like there's something here that you can sort of like take away and think about as you like move through the world that's valuable to you, even if you think that I'm a loudmouth or whatever, that like there's something here for you personally. So cool. But yeah, truly I appreciate you guys. And of this, to think about like what are the ways in your life you can like sort of embrace some of these things, or at least the things that you like that make sense, right? The idea of saying yes, not to everything, right, in a cheesy way, but like having an open, receptive mindset to other people, looking for ways to say yes, right? To like listen and be present, to make other people feel listened to, like just the intention of that as you move through the world, it's like so important. Also to make other people look good. And I think that's easy to do when we are friends with people, if we like them and we're being polite and they're in the same room with us. But when I work with teams and organizations, right, it's like to do that when it's easy not to do that, right? When I work with or somebody around me that I don't like or I don't get along with, and have the opportunity when they're not in the room to like talk shit about them or say something bad like that I don't. I choose not to put other people down behind their backs because that is the opposite of making other people look good, right? To embrace change, to embrace failure, to extend some grace to each other. We're not perfect, and to be positive, but not like in a cheesy, fake, positive way. It's like, I think for us to just take ownership of the way that we impact other people, right? Which means showing up in a group and being like, okay, let's do this thing, right? And like focusing on like, can I bring the best out of the people around me? What does that look like? And like in an authentic way that makes sense to you, right? That resonates in terms of how you move through this world. So that's it. That's what I want to say. So thank you guys for your time. Seriously. Have a good year. Welcome to EOU. Also for like the teams that are here, like kick ass. Have a great year. And I believe that is it. So y'all can bust out. But